So pushing players, I guess, is what you would call it, like trying to. Let's say you have a need.
Yeah,
like
mistakes we've made, you mean?
Well, no, I'm just
Okay.
saying that, is there some pressure, obviously, from, whether it's yourself from within or coaches that, like, hey, we don't have anybody at this position.
Yes.
And so, and you obviously want to take the best athlete or best football player available. How does that kind of work out? How have you managed that over the
Yeah, I
years?
said mistakes, but it really is. It's self. When you're self scouting, the evaluation process, reviewing the draft, you can get in situations where, personally, I feel like, we've made some mistakes where we've pushed players based on need and what the draft looks like. So that particular class, say you have, and I'm using generalities here in vague terms, but, if you have one receiver on the board in one round and then there's a gap of 2 rounds and you have 5 cornerbacks, on the board in those same 2 rounds, we should just go ahead and take the receiver. Well, is the receiver really the best player, or is the corner the best player with more options below him? And, in retrospect, over the years, when we look back at, pushing players up, you can do that based on need because you say that guy's going to step right in, he's going to play. But is that truly accurate when you're comparing the players? And in general, we just do a much better job when we just pick the best player and the best fit and all the other stuff. But yeah, so I think you guys have heard me talk about there's ledges all throughout the draft. There's gaps in each round, and you just have to be really careful not to push a player based on a specific need or based on what the numbers look like in the draft, that specific draft. That's why you have to be really, really honest and in depth on your study of what each class looks like, and know that, like, hey, just because he's a 3rd rounder doesn't mean that, like, he really is a 4th rounder and you made him a 3rd rounder.